Plane from McCann and Foothill, 545.
Alexa, how many ounces in 1 pound?
1 pound is 16 ounces.
Let this sweet mineral melt in your mouth to rebuild your gums and teeth while you sleep, and say goodbye to the dentist forever. People are fixing their bleeding and receding gums, loosening teeth and decay,
Hey, I didn't realize you guys were here. You should speak or something. You know, I had Zoom in the background and I thought nobody was here and I was just browsing the internet. Oh, my camera is not on. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? I had the session running, but no. Why did nobody speak up? You're not even talking to each other. You just logged in and not talking at all. Okay. All right. Anyway, so I still can't hear you guys. Are you guys muted or something? Yeah, I can't hear you laughing or breathing even.
Oh yeah, I was sorry. I just thought the
Someone say
meeting
something.
like hasn't started yet or something.
Wow, was it my speakers? Why can't I hear anything? Okay,
Wait,
hey,
Can
Kyle,
you
say
hear
something.
me? Can you hear me? Hello?
No, I can't hear you. What the hell is
Oh.
going on here? Wait a sec. Is it that Zoom, silly Zoom thing again? Wait a sec. Let me see. How do I, maybe I need to configure Zoom to say, use a speaker. Oh, wow. This happens once in a while. It's not predictable. That's why, okay, let me try this. Okay. Oh, someone sent me a chat message. I'm clearing this chat so it removes your CC info. Oh, this is someone else. Okay, so Zoom preferences. Hey, Zoom preferences, maybe audio, output volume. Yeah, that's okay. Test speaker. Same as a system speaker. All right. Maybe I need to change to Alexa manually. All right. Test speaker. If you cannot hear the test sound, select a different speaker. Okay, I cannot hear the test sound. All right, let's try this. Okay, that's on my local. Okay, now. Okay. All right, well, it now works on Alexa. Some strange thing here. Okay, all right, I'm very sorry about this. You know, I would have come to the meeting sooner if I'd known that you guys were here. I thought nobody was here. Anyway, I hope you guys had a good final and enjoyed the class. And this is the last class, obviously, unless I see some of you guys again in my blue and green and red quests. And besides, all right, so I wanted to mention this. Some of you are not going on to do 2B and 2C because you've been accepted into programs and you're going elsewhere, I know. So that's fantastic, all right? So I'm very glad that you're going on to do, you know, look at more advanced stuff in computer science. But having said that, you should not feel you should feel perfectly free to keep questing. You know, keep questing as much as you want. Do green and red. Now you're not bound by class times and all, so you can do it at your own pace. But just in order to keep the experience meaningful and enjoyable, I just have a suggestion, which obviously you're not required to follow because you're not being graded and all. Don't ask for help from anyone, okay? Don't ask for help from anyone whenever you get stuck. If it takes you a whole month to get past something, that's okay. As long as you don't forget it, as long as you keep thinking about it every day and say, well, I'm going to give it 20 minutes of my time every day. If I can't fix it in 20 minutes, that's it. Okay, I'm going to go on and do my other stuff. I'll come back tomorrow. Maybe just set an alarm 8 a.m. to 8:20 or something like that. Okay, and just keep looking at it every day. Eventually you will crack it. So, but you have to resist very, very hard the temptation not to ask anyone. And also not to look up the past Reddit post until such time as you have, you know, solved an issue. Once you've solved an issue, then you can go back and look at the past posts of you know, past students posts in Reddit, and you can see how they've done it, you know, slightly differently, or maybe they'll have some insights that you didn't come up with. Or you may have additional insights that those people didn't have. You can still feel free to post in the forums and all. There's going to be students, right? I'm going to teach for at least a couple more years at Foothill, I think. So there will be students at Foothill who will, you know, answer your questions. And obviously I'll answer them too, right? I'm going to be online. I'll check, you know, if you're irretrievably stuck, which I don't believe is ever going to be the case, I will absolutely help you out. And so feel free. Okay, and I hope you all enjoyed this class. Some of you have written to me saying that you actually did find that this was a good learning experience. That is ultimately what I want. Okay, I don't want all of you to get just A's with no learning experience. So even if you didn't get A's, if you got a good learning experience, that means the course was successful in my view. And so if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, you guys can just feel free to talk amongst yourselves. Yeah. So hey, Emily, you said you're a teacher, right? You teach science or something? Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? Usually, I tell students once they've crossed quest 9 of red, they can have a copy of the questing system with the source code and everything. Well, they can, not everyone, teachers, if they want to teach, not just any, because if I just give it out to anyone, then the reference solutions will all be out there, and people will just look at the reference solutions. So anyone who's actually teaching in the business of teaching, meaning that they have experience in teaching and they know what teaching is all about, not giving answers, right? So if those kinds of people, I don't care if they go all the way to red and finish it. If they want to run, not the questing system itself, because understanding how the questing system works will actually will take passing CS2C. However, creating your own quests does not require going all the way to CS2C, except if especially if the quests that you're going to create are not computer science quests. Maybe you do, maybe you can create your own flavor of C++2A level quests for your students. Like different flavor, different kind of things. And if they're younger, maybe you want to have, a different kind of spec sheet with animals and things like that jumping around, whatever it is, right? So, but it's very easy to create your own quest, especially if you're going to be creating quests in, I don't know, physics or chemistry or something like that, where instead of having, computational problems to solve in order to move on, you can actually get hoorays or trophies for solving a bunch of physics problems. I don't know. I'm not a physics teacher, so I'm just pulling things out of thin air here. Maybe if you have a module on mechanics, and then you have to solve a whole bunch of problems with levers and pendulum swings and so on. So you can select a bunch of problems that are related to each other. Maybe a mouse that has to solve one. I don't know. There's this incredible game that my son and I used to play when he was a kid. I forget the name of this game. Oh my gosh, it is really cool. It is one of those games where you can get all these physical these things and arrange them and then create a chain reaction. A ball falls here, and then the ball will set off something, and that'll operate a lever, and the lever releases something. It hits a switch, and electricity and magnetism and mechanical forces, everything combined together. And these are all just, you drag them and place them in places, and then hit the run button, and then the physical reaction starts, providing you placed all the right things in the right places. And then the end is where you're, if something happens at the end, you get a reward. And that was a really nice game. My kids and I really enjoyed it. It was on Windows. I don't know if that game is still available, but there's a similar game like that, which is also fantastic. Okay, I think it is all these games. Well, this game anyway, or maybe all of them, were produced by this company called Sierra, SIERRA, and I think they were based in Colorado. So a company called Sierra Education or Sierra Compute, Sierra, I don't know, SI. So that's there. And it was all on Windows, and so I don't even know if they're available now, but I'm pretty sure some similar games will be available. So this game that I'm talking about is actually very nice. It's called Dr. Brain, okay? Dr. Brain, DR Brain, and it comes in 3 parts. I think part 1, part 2, part 3. And each one of those games, you can enter the game and you get into a different part of the doctor's brain. So one part is all about music. Another part of the brain is all about physics. Another part is about language and so on, okay? And so every part you enter, you have puzzles to solve. So even musical puzzles, very nice, interesting musical puzzles where you get, some jazz piece, that plays on your speaker. And then you have all the assembled, musicians and the instruments. Here you can just assemble them and configure them to say, well, this is the time when the bass guitarist has to start. This is where he ends, and this is where the drummer starts, and so on. And you assemble all of that, and the goal is for you to create an orchestra that perfectly matches what you hear. And it starts off with very simple melodies and goes on to more and more complex melodies. That's very interesting. And Dr. Brain 3 is, I think, the most advanced version. But Dr. Brain 1 was for, I don't know, very young kids. So all of those were interesting. But anyway, so where I was going with that is that if you're a teacher and you want to create your own quest in physics or chemistry or something like that, it's actually very, very easy. Okay, so all you need to do is just create a spec sheet like I do. It's a PDF document. You can create it in Microsoft Word or Google Docs. You need a spec sheet, and the only thing you need to do is write a program, and it can be a program in any language you like. Okay, Python, PHP, whatever language you know, write a program. And this is a cycle. And this cycle you already know. Okay, so your student will go onto the site, enter a password that you choose. Okay, so because you're going to be creating a bunch of quests, and you'll give them names and give them interesting names, which will also double as passwords. So the student goes, enter the password, and they get to the circle thing, and then they will drag and drop a file. Now, in this file, you can, in the spec sheet, you can say this file should contain the answers to these physics problems. I don't know, you can do whatever you want. Right? And then all that your program has to do is to verify the answers with your own answers. And if they're right, you just have to print hooray with a number. Okay. And that becomes their trophy count, and it is reflected on the /Q site. And there's, I can set up a way in which you can just, pull all the numbers to and integrate into your, learning system. So you can, all of those are very easy. So what I'm saying is that it's very easy to create your own quest if you want to. All you need is just a spec sheet that tells the student what to do, and a program that you write in any language, which has to run on a command line, ideally Python or something like that, because Python will run on Windows and Mac and Unix without any changes. So some program that will be given the file the user uploaded. You don't have to worry about anything, right? So all you have to do is write that one program, which will check the answers and print hoorays, which you can write very easily, and a spec sheet. And I'll just put the spec sheet and the program inside of the quest place, and that's it. The quest is ready instantly from that point onwards. And so if you want to create your own series of adventures for a particular subject, right? It doesn't have to be computer science. If you can figure out a way in which the player or the student can take an adventure through a particular problem set and solve these and eventually get to the end and earning a lot of trophies along the way. So, it takes a while to think, maybe a couple of days to think of some interesting things like that. That's all it takes, right? So if you can, and I can help you once you have an idea of what you need to do. I can help you with the script which needs to process the file and print things out. It's all very easy and pretty straightforward to do. So so that'll be really cool. That'll be cool. So because it doesn't take a lot of time, and it doesn't even cost me a lot to run these engines, right? So it's all behind the load balancer. Gets fired up on demand automatically, and so yeah, it's all available for you, and so you should absolutely feel free to play around and tinker around and see if you can create your own fun quests, which may turn out to be more interesting also, right? Because C++ quests, all said and done, at the end of the day, it's got the C++ beast sitting in front of the door, right? So lots of people are scared to venture in when they have to encounter something like C++. Whereas if it's something else that is more entertaining and inviting to younger kids, they might actually come and play it. They could see these interesting things happen, and yeah, in fact, you can even insert music and other clips in there. I'm not doing a lot of that except for the bell sounds, but you can do all of those too, and I can show you. It's all a piece of cake. It wouldn't even take you less than a day to do that. So
I have a question regarding this course. Do you know when the grades will be released, or when we can
actually,
see it?
I don't know. A lot of people are emailing me. About the grades, and also if the final retakes, no final retakes. Okay, so and also if they can. The only thing I've made an exception for is people who accidentally missed the midterm or a data rep quiz early on. I give them another chance today or yesterday. So, but final retakes, then if I have to give it to one, I have to give it to everybody. And I don't think that's feasible. Because all of you, I think most of you have done reasonably well. I think you'll be happy, right? I think most of you will be happy with what you get. At least the people who are coming to class and participating and being active on Reddit, I don't think you have anything to worry at all. Yeah, the grades, just check with, I don't, Foothill usually releases them, I think a week after the final. I don't know. I forget because it's different for different quarters. And summer, maybe most of the admin people have gone. No, they'll stick around for at least a week more, I think, before they. So yeah, you'll see your grades next week. And nobody will know. And people are asking me, right, emailing me saying, how much did I get for participation? So there is no way anyone can know how they get, how much they get for participation. In fact, I don't know, right? Because tomorrow is when I'll actually process the data. I'll run the scripts to see how much participation everybody has got, and then also adjust it, right? If the system says, someone like one of you guys, right, Emily or Kyle, got very low on participation, then I'll probably go and look. Well, that's something is wacky here, because they were here, they were, all the time. They were in class and they participated in the forums and they put these interesting posts up. So I'll go and take a look and I'll tweak these scores, obviously. But usually the system does a really good job, in picking out posts. And I don't think any of you have to worry. Anything else? No? You guys are just itching to wrap things up and move on. Yeah, well, absolutely welcome anytime. Okay, welcome back anytime. And I know Emily's not going to do 2B, but yeah, you want to do quests, absolutely, right? Do the quests in your own time, and also get other people to do the blue quests if you want, the kids, and also maybe consider creating your own physics or chemistry. I don't know what you teach, but you said science, so I'm just pulling physics and chemistry out of thin air. But you can create your own quests and run them off here. Only 2 files. Those are the only 2 files needed. Okay, a spec sheet, which is a PDF file, which you can generate in Google Docs, and then a simple script that will check the student answers. That's all. All right. Anything else that I can help you guys with? Otherwise, I will look forward to seeing you. Aditya, you're going to enroll in 2B with your school money, right?
Yeah, but since it's the summer, they haven't approved my request yet, so I'm just waiting for that.
Oh yeah, I know. No, yeah, that's right. But it doesn't start until September, end of September.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And in fact, encourage your classmates also to do this class, because
Yeah,
I'm pretty
for sure.
Yeah, because I think that from this is from my experience. Maybe things have changed, okay, in the last years. So when my son, both my kids, right, when they went to high school, I think my son did APCS, and he said that even though APCS was really good and learned a lot, it didn't actually set him up for creating his own stuff. And it's all a lot of theory, and there's not enough emphasis on actually getting stuff to work and making your programs. At the end of the day, you can't just read recipe books and say I'm never going to cook, right? So you got the fun here is in making things, and I think that strangely enough, a lot of 12th graders have a lot of time on their hands between the time they wrap up in the middle of 12th grade, not even the final, because until the middle of 12th grade, I think most students need to stay on top of the material, or their admissions could be rescinded. So I think until the middle of 12th grade they work hard, but after the middle of 12th grade they're just taking it easy, right? Because they're just going around playing the fool and having a good time, basically, right? Because they say, for the last 1.5 years I've basically been slogging it out. Now is the time to basically enjoy myself, and they have a lot of fun. Now, however, a lot of students also get bored with the fun really quickly, and they're actually looking, because at the end of around that time, after having mastered a lot of material, their heads are also brimming with lots of ideas. And many students I know, especially in my son's class, right? They had lots of really good ideas and they wanted to create things, but they didn't know how to get started because they didn't have practical experience in coding. And so if you actually get some of your classmates, did you say you're a sophomore or a junior, Aditya?
Yeah, I'm a rising senior.
Yeah, okay, so you got a bit more time. You got,
Yeah.
so you can get more of your classmates to do blue and green, and maybe even red, which means that by the time you get that 6 months, or I think it's 9 months of time when you actually have a lot of time on your hands.
Mhm.
You don't have to waste it by just getting into Valorant or some new game that comes out, because the companies, these electronic arts and all these companies, they're not fools, right? Because they know when to launch a game to get the maximum impact. So they will be looking for, they won't launch a game just before finals and finals week in school, right? So they'll wait until they know, all right, this is the time when students have a lot of time on their hands. We're going to grab them by the dozens. So, and once they grab you, you're basically sucked in and stuck there for several years, because you know how addicting these games are, right? Because very addictive stuff. And so this is a time when you can actually poach the students before Epic goes after them and say, hey, all right, you got these interesting ideas. Let's turn that into some reading really, really valuable. And so you'd be able to do that. So get more of your students to do this. And absolutely, they can either do the class for in the next 2 years when I'm still teaching, or I'm pretty sure questing will continue to be available. They can quest anytime. So during these years, during the final years in school, more students should be questing, I think, or the equivalent of questing. There's so many sites out there now. So they should be doing this and getting more hands-on practice rather than just little blurbs of a code that you see in your APCS exam. Saying, well, what does this do? What does this do? What is the complexity of this loop and things like that? Yeah, okay, well, that is good, but certainly it's a lot more fun and worthwhile to actually try it out and say, well, you know what? I wrote 2 programs and one of them is not terminating soon enough, and that is much more. That'll sit in our brains longer than just reading it. That's my feel, and I think you'll have all of you guys, right? You'll have a great time. I think the opportunities right now in terms of what you can do just exploded in the last 10 years. Before that, even when I came to the States in 2000, even though the internet was already there and the World Wide Web was there, in order to do some really, really kick-ass stuff, you at that time, I think you really did need to be part of a big research lab, a big research lab, or companies with lots and lots of money that can, get stuff for you. But that changed miraculously. That changed completely in the last 10 years. You don't have to be anyone to do cool stuff. You can be no one and do cool stuff today. And that is so fantastic, which didn't used to be the case. And so that means that in the next 10 to 15 years, lots and lots of people, right? If today's generation, you only see, a few people like Bill Gates and Elon Musk, because they all had the right opportunities and, and rose up through the ranks. But in the next 10 or 15 years, when opportunities become equal and everybody can do these things, there will be so many of these people, right? Everybody who has the ability to do something will go and try it out. And that didn't used to be the case before. You need to have a rich parent, you needed to have an influential person, you needed to have someone who could connect you to IBM and all these people so that you can get big orders right up front. So all of those don't exist anymore, right? Because if you do something really cool and you put it out there, what is it? What is that company that Facebook bought for $19 million? WeChat or Web Chat or something like that? I don't know. There was something, there was a chat app that someone built. And that person, I remember after Facebook bought that person, I went and took a look at something he wrote on a blog, and he said he interviewed at Facebook several times and got rejected. But that didn't stop him from doing cool stuff. And when he did this cool stuff, Facebook came and said, "We'll like to buy you. We'd like to buy you," and they got the company for $19 billion, which is really cool. Right, which also shows that many of these people are not just going to trample on you just because you didn't pass the interview, they have an open mind, saying, well, there is brilliance in this person. It hasn't been unlocked, so we're not going to buy that person until it's been unlocked. So they just let you out there again. Go and find the key and get it unlocked, and then come back. You don't have to do it. Once you unlocked it, we'll come and find you, and we'll give you an offer that you can't refuse. So everything will just become possible these days, especially going forward. You don't have to be beholden to anyone, any person, any company, and just with minimal, resources and input, you can basically just do kick-ass stuff. And that is the only way to do kick-ass stuff. The only way to do kick-ass stuff is not to be dependent on other entities outside of you, whether it's a company, another person, no matter how closely you are related to them, doesn't matter. Right? So it doesn't, because you can be closely related and have fun with people, but still not be dependent on them. Right? And I think once you are completely independent and say, well, I can do my stuff without having any help whatsoever. Help meaning you can always ask, and there are people that voluntarily help you, but you don't have to be beholden to anyone to offer you help. And that, I think, is the way to make incredible progress, I think, and it'll be totally fun. So I will actually look forward to seeing your names in the newspapers in some years' time, and saying, hey, they went ahead and did this, Emily's company got bought by Google or something like that, right? So those are things that will be really cool for me to read. And show other people too, right? And I'm pretty sure people like, there are lots of people at Foothill and all these other places that your schools and so on, they'll just pick up on these things and say, hey, these are students. And now we can cope. So many of our students are doing cool stuff. In the past, we could run, an editorial saying one student who graduated in 1995, started this, right? But now we have like 15 or 20 students every time. So we can't cope with that. So it's so fantastic. All right. Anyway, I don't have anything more to say. I don't expect that you have doubts today, saying technical doubts, saying, hey, I don't know how a for loop will work in the situation, but feel perfectly free to ask if you want, or even talk about each other, talk to each other about these things, right? Talk to each other about these things and clarify any last minute doubts you have. You don't have the exam in front of you now. You don't have anything that you have to do. In fact, this meeting you came to was completely voluntary, as every meeting really. But this time you don't even have, have anything to expect from this meeting. Yeah, you have no expectations in this meeting. You're just coming here to just say hi and bye to everyone, and hopefully stay in touch with each other, right? As you progress, because even though you're all at different stages in your education, just staying in touch together because you were overlapped in one class will just make it much more easy for you, maybe in 5 years, 10 years time, to reconnect and say, hey, you know what, this thing that I have an idea, you have an idea, let's just create something, right? And it'll be a whole lot easier than interacting with a total stranger. Even with total strangers, it'll take some time, right? Over a couple of weeks, you can start working well together, but you guys can start working well together right off the bat because you've already been working together. And sometimes 1 or 2 weeks makes a critical difference in how a product shapes up. The first couple of weeks, because the first couple of weeks is usually make or break for anything. Many things, people make their decisions in the first couple of weeks, saying, well, this is for me, this is not for me. I'm going to get it done, I'm not going to get it done. Once you make your decision in your mind saying, I'm not going to get it done, that project will never get you 100% from that point onwards. So the first couple of weeks are the most critical. Even in classes, you know this, right? When you enroll in a class, the first couple of weeks is when a student gets a good feel for saying, okay, I can actually do this class, or they're going to drop and say, I'm going to go somewhere else. And startups and projects and companies are also like that. When you have an idea and then you think it's really feasible and you think about it, and then you get someone together and then talk about it over coffee or something like that. First couple of weeks is when you get a really solid feel for whether it has legs or not, because that other person will say, well, it's a really cool idea, but are there people who will buy it, or are we willing to do it even if there are no buyers, because it's really cool. So all of those ideas things will get talked about in the first couple of weeks, and we make decisions. And that's why it's very useful to to do startups with people who you already know, right? If you not friendly, because friendly and a startup, I don't know if it's a good combination, because friends have other expectations also, and when expectations conflict, then it messes with each other, and productivity goes down. And so I think it's best to have work with someone who you don't have social obligations for, but at the same time, just a social obligation of being nice to each other and being open-minded. That should always be there, even with strangers, I think. But if you work with someone and have had a good professional working relationship, like in our Reddit, and helping each other, that is a great person to do a startup with, because they're not looking to climb over you. They're basically saying, oh, we're in it together. Let's make something really cool. And so yeah, I think that will be fantastic. Good. And whether I see you guys again or not, I wish you all the very, very best as you move forward. And so thank you all for your patience and coming to class, and coming to a non-mandatory class like this, and also pushing through on all the quests and helping each other. Those are the things that really made my days this summer quarter.
Yeah, and I just want to say thanks for I really like the questing type of curriculum here. Like, yeah, I really enjoyed the questing type of work. So yeah.
Awesome. Just keep doing it. Kyle, are you planning to come back to 2B, or are you just going to be questing on your own?
I
Either is
think
fine.
I'll be questing on my own, but I'll try to do 2B next summer because I don't think I'll have time during school.
Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, you mentioned this last time too. Yeah. You don't have to do 2B, obviously, but if you finish all the green quests, you can just come and collect the transcript for $150. Because
Yeah, I mean, my school will do it for free, but yeah, I guess that's what.
Oh, you too. You're in school too, like
yeah.
Aditya?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. So you can just collect the transcript for free. But yeah, but keep on questing and get all your friends to quest too. And in fact, I even told my 2B students, if they were to hold a questathon, I'll be happy to buy a prize and sponsor it. So if one of you is going to run a questathon, saying all of these quests start here, and then 6 weeks you got to finish all of that, and the max trophies gets the prize. Yeah, I can buy I was thinking originally I'd buy a Facebook. No, what is it? Quest 2, Oculus Quest 2, which is one of those goggles, and you get to play these VR games, or also do VR development rather than play VR games. And you can do VR development in C++. Is VR C++ is such a fine language to do VR development, because everything is because in VR, even small jumpy movements are very jarring. So C++ makes everything very slick and smooth, and it's perfect language for VR development, I think. So yeah, if you want to, I can buy that I can buy a bunch of those for in the first prizes for the questathons that you run in your institutions. But you've got to find some way of not policing them, but organizing them, saying, well, you know what, because you can't say the notice goes up and then you got 6 weeks to finish it. And what about people that have already finished? I don't know. You guys can sort these things out. But if you do, I'll buy a quest and send it to you to award to the first prize person. Right. Well, obviously, I can. There's only 4 of you, so I can make the commitment here. For you guys. But if there was a whole class, full class, I probably wouldn't be able to make that commitment. But yeah, I can do that. And it doesn't have to be a Quest 2, but it has to be something of a comparable price. So I don't know, Richard, are you based here, or are you based in a different country, or are you in the States?
I'm in the Bay Area.
You're in the Bay Area, okay. So yeah. So Quest will work. But in my 2B, I had a student who was actually based in China, and she was doing a class from somewhere near Beijing. And she said Quest 2 is not available for sale there, but I'm pretty sure that they probably have something very similar or even more advanced, because China, most of the electronics we get are actually made in China. So I'm pretty sure they have a lot of equivalent gaming platforms and systems. So I'd be happy to buy it, as long as after you convert the price from yuan to dollars, it still is in the same range. So I'd be happy to buy one for you and ship it from your local address to that address too. So yeah, consider those. That is, I think, will be a much better way of spending what time you have before your fall quarter starts. Because now, starting from now until the fall quarter starts, you have a gap, right? And that would be a good way. Because you can get into a game too, obviously. But then you'll find that after 5 years, most of the stuff that you play in your games you'll forget. Even though Fortnite and all those things are so cool, and it stays in your mind for, I don't know, maybe even a few weeks or a month, right? After you have a really, really scintillating game in Fortnite, right? With players over the internet. And that, it's hard to forget that for a week even, right? So you may be talking about the game 2 weeks later with a friend who comes over and says, hey, you know what? I made that headshot exactly like that. 4 weeks ago, right? And even though these things are entrenched in your memory, you will find that it's only for a year, okay? 2 years later, it won't be as strong. However, the knowledge you pick up now, that has no way of fading out, because you will keep reusing it, and that just gets stronger and stronger, and gets better and better. And then you'll find that what you learn now, it will be still equally valuable 2 years down. Whereas these memories that you collect, memories will only fade with time, whereas knowledge only gets stronger and stronger with time. So I think, so in terms of prioritizing, obviously you need memories too, good memories, but you shouldn't go all out on memories and less on knowledge. So you can budget things and prioritize, saying, well, you know what, I'm going to devote 10% of my brains to collecting cool memories and good things that I can take with me. And especially deprioritize parts of your effort and your brain that collect bad memories. Okay, never go into places which could land you in bad memories. Okay, because bad memories, strangely enough, have a longer time to fade away than good memories, and people tend to forget good things faster than bad things that happen to them, because evolutionary perhaps, right? Because if something was dangerous, it probably makes evolutionary sense to hang on to that so that you don't get killed later on. So but even bad memories tend to fade, if you have more and more good memories. So you can basically just focus on 10% of your cycles devoted to finding good memories and spending time with good people, people that are positive energy, make you feel good. Okay, that's all good because it generates, but 90% of the time you can say, I'm going to focus on personal improvement, because that comes back, because personal improvement generates more good memories later on. So so that would be a good way to prioritize things and spend the rest of the time this summer. All right. Do you guys want to talk amongst yourself? Like as usual, I can just turn the laptop around and you guys can talk. And when you're done, you can say bye-bye to each other, and I'll just come back and switch off the recording. But otherwise, we can wrap it up. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to look at your faces one more time. And wonderful class. You guys want to talk to each other? Yeah? Okay. All right. So I'll just turn the laptop around. So when I won't be in your face, I'll be out there. You can call me, okay? If you call me, I'll come back. But you have to call me either Prof or Anand or something like that, because otherwise I tend to tell myself I'll listen to the video afterwards or watch the video afterwards and be less focused on what you're saying. But I will absolutely watch the video. All right. Thank you.
Sorry. All right, guys, you did it. Richard, are you in high school?
No,
You're what?
I'm gonna go to college soon. So.
Okay, cool. I mean, this is kind of dumb, but like as a high school teacher, I feel super proud of all of you guys. I've already done college and everything, and I'm super impressed by everything, by you guys finishing the course and what I see in you guys communicating. And I think I mentioned this to you before, but my students are basically they've been kicked out of one or more schools, and so it's a very particular type of student. But seeing you guys, accomplish so much and communicate so well, it really does give me hope for them as well. So I really appreciate y'all doing all of this, and I feel privileged getting to see it.
Thanks for those kind words.
Yeah, and thanks everyone for like participating in the subreddit, because I use it a good amount. But yeah, my mom's calling me right now, so I have to go help her with something. So I'm gonna head out. Bye.
What are y'all's next steps then? So Aditya, you have your senior year, and then you're gonna
Yeah.
take the next one, and then are you gonna major in computer science, or do you know?
Probably like computer engineering or something like that. I'm not decided completely yet, but something in those fields. But I'm deciding on whether I should take CS2B like right after the summer quarter, so like the fall quarter, or closer to in the spring when I'm in second semester, because first semester is all college and like kind of a bunch of things I have to focus on. So either summer or spring is one of those two that I might take it. And what about you? Are you going to take CS2B?
No, I actually got into a master's of computer science program.
Oh, nice. Congrats.
Thanks. It's a special program for people who didn't do undergrad in computer
Okay.
science. So it's like my degree's in biology and chemistry, and so I think it's going to start a little slower and
Okay.
cover some of those basics that you probably will get.
Is it
next
the
year.
Georgia Tech one, the online one?
No, well, they're both online. I got into one at WPI and another one at
Oh, okay.
Syracuse. So,
Okay, nice.
yeah. And so I have to decide. They're both really different. I feel like Syracuse goes along a lot more with like the C++ really strong fundamental basis,
Mhm.
whereas the WPI, it seems a lot more like Python, I think, is going to be their main one,
Okay.
and getting projects. So I kind of have to decide which one. But it's also kind of awkward because all of their stuff is East Coast time.
Mhm. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Where are you right now? Are you in LA? I think, if I remember
Mhm.
correctly. Okay. Nice.
Yeah. I teach with LAUSD.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. And are you at the Bay Area?
Yeah,
as
I'm also
well?
in the Bay Area. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Richard? What is your major in?
Oh, I'm majoring in stats and data science. So I already completed Python, but I'm just learning C++ just for fun.
Yeah. How was it?
I mean, it's different since Python is basically, it's like Python's very straightforward because you're given a lot of stuff. So you don't really care about bits, really. Yeah, but yeah, I'm just taking this class for fun.
Are you going to take 2B?
Probably not, because have to. I'm probably gonna focus on school because I plan to graduate in 3 years.
Oh yeah, Emily, where did you go to undergrad?
I actually went to undergrad on the East Coast.
Oh, okay.
At a small school. It's next to Virginia Tech if you follow any
Oh,
sort of
okay.
sports.
Yeah.
It's called Radford, but they don't really have a lot of sports.
Mhm.
But yeah, I had actually a lot of great experiences. My school didn't have any graduate students, and so the undergrads got to a lot of opportunities.
Oh,
So something to consider. I was able to do a lot of undergraduate research. So I was in the lab designing my own experiments, and I was able to get grant money to put them off and then present them at conferences and stuff. And so I don't think I would have like, because later I spent some time at UC Davis and they treat undergrads so terrible.
Yeah.
They felt so bad. Like,
Oh,
yeah, but I was there as a graduate student, so I kind of got to see like them be like, oh, we'll give this to the undergrads, they can clean it up. And it was just,
yeah.
so, yeah. Do you have any idea where you might want to go?
I'm just focusing on in-state right now. So any like UC, CSUs probably are my main goal. I don't have a particular preference.
Maybe some scholarships might guide you one way.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. I'm going to apply to a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was sort of thinking about what you said in regards to taking 2B or not. I mean, you could always do what the professor said and sort of work on your quests and then just sort of do the course after you finish them.
Yeah, right.
So,
I mean, even Switch games are playable.
Oh yeah.
There's tools for everything. But not, I don't think PS5 is possible. PS4 is like not possible.
Yeah, you're right.
It's good that they're cross-platforming though.
Yeah, definitely good.
sounds like Matrey's having fun. So Richard, why do you want to graduate so early? Are you going to go do masters? You just want to get a job? Or?
Why,
Yeah, because my major is data science, and once you graduate and get a job,
they spend hours with
the pay is like very high.
not this time.
It's already 6 figures already, and I rather, and plus, like, if I stay in college for another year, I feel like I'm just wasting time.
I can get that. Yeah, especially so. Do you feel like you would still have the opportunity to move up, or is it the kind of thing where you get a job and then that's just what you're doing? Or
Yeah, I think I plan to get a job first and then work my way up, and also like at the same time of working myself up, probably like work towards a master's as well at the same time. So, and then if I get master's, I'll probably get a higher chance of like going higher up.
absolutely, yeah, for sure. Are you guys both from California?
Yeah.
Nice. I've lived in Texas and then on the East Coast as well, and I just moved here last year. But
Oh,
it's
wow.
the best place to live. So if you
Nice.
stay, I think that's a good thing. But yeah. I mean, that's all I have. I wish you guys the absolute best. I'll put my email in the chat if you guys need anything.
Sure, yeah.
You know, I'm a teacher, and so that sometimes has interesting perspectives or resources. So, you know, if you'll need anything, feel free to let me know.
Good luck with everything too.
Thank you. You guys, I'm a little nervous about, I think I told you last time or the time before last, I'm supposed to be starting robotics this year, and I
Oh, okay.
am totally nervous.
Yeah. No, I'm sure you'll do well.
Yeah. Have you done it?
Robotics?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have. Actually on a robotics team at my high school. So
So do you guys when do you start building for that year? Like, do you start in May, or do you start as soon as you get there this year?
no, we start in January. That's when our competition starts. So it's 6 weeks.
That's when you start building.
Yeah, basically. I mean, that's when the competition starts. We design and build at the same time around.
Which is it FRC?
It's called FRC, yeah.
Okay. I might look into that, because that was one they were asking me to look into one, but it was like I felt like we would have needed to order our stuff already, and I literally just got my funding becomes available next week.
Okay. So I think FRC is kind of like the biggest one. So if you're just starting, you might want to go into like FTC or something, because it's a lot smaller. And yeah, and the budget is much less as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot, so I want to spend it. I mean, I think we ended up with like 7,500.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
but to, we have nothing. And so
Yeah.
it's like we don't have any tools, we don't have a and what are they, an arena yet? And so
Yeah. I mean, like personally, like I just in high school I just got into FRC, but normally people take the route where they go into like FLL in elementary school, which is like Lego robotics, and then they go into FDC, which is like middle school robotics, so like smaller robots. But you get the basic like you learn how to build robots and design them, and then you go into FRC, which is like full scale high school robots that are like huge. So I guess it's sort of like skill difference. And also in FRC, we have this problem where some like teams have so much budget, they go way over the top, and smaller teams have like no chance whatsoever in winning anything. But there's some ways that they try to like combat that, but at that point, it just becomes like really, really competitive and sort of discouraging, but I guess it's just for the experience anyway. So I guess it evens
Sure.
out. Yeah.
I think my students are already pretty discouraged in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so I mean, isn't FRC one of the ones that really values like volunteer work in that regard? Like
Yeah. Well, that's also a big part, but FTC has the same things as well. Like our high school
Okay.
team has an FTC team that also do volunteer work, but I'm part of my district's FRC team, so we also take part in volunteer work to a certain extent. But I guess it's the same for both.
Sure. Well, I had kind of heard that if you can get another team to like mentor you, it's to their benefit too.
Mhm.
And so I was trying to get some people around me to help.
Yeah, sure. Mhm.
But so they both have that
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
component. Okay, so
Mhm.
that's good to know. But yeah, do you know what like vendor you guys use to purchase your stuff from, or
Well, I think our mentors take care of that, but it's usually
Sure.
like this one site called like Andy Mark.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Andy Mark and like Rev Robotics. It's from a multiple different places. It's not really one thing that I can center on. But the interesting thing is WPI actually sponsors all the software stuff. So it's interesting that,
Oh, cool.
yeah, all the
Yeah.
software part is like maintained by them.
Nice. That's super cool. I'll have to see if I can break into that aspect as well. Do you think I could, I mean, if you don't mind sharing like your mentor's name and maybe your school so I could try to track them down if I ask them questions?
I'll send you his email if I can
Okay.
find it. Yeah.
That would be super helpful because
Yeah, he's sort of like in Northern California.
okay, yeah.
So it's, let me just okay, I'll send it in chat.
Richard, how did you get into computer science?
So I first started, I think, the junior year during COVID. So I had basically nothing to do. And so
That's
I
in
just
chat.
basically started with Python. I did CS, I think it was 1 or 3A. 3A was Python, and I just finished A through C. And then that basically, it started from spring, summer, and then fall. And then during senior year of high school, I took AP CS2A, and then took the AP exam. I think I buried myself with a lot of APs during senior year. And then, yeah, I started C++ this summer.
Nice. I think that's great. I think it's good to branch out, and I think it's really cool that during COVID you took some of your free time to like learn more, which I think a lot of my students did not do that.
Yeah, so I put his email in chat. His name is Mark Edelman. He's sort of like,
thank you so much.
Yeah. With first, he's like sort of like the head of Northern California or something like that. So Yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah.
maybe he might have some contacts closer to me that would be able to.
Yeah, you should.
That's cool.
Mhm.
Nice.
And
Okay.
he focuses on FTC as well. Like he's an FTC referee as well. So
Wow.
in case and he has experience with FRC. So if you want to ask him about both, you could.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate your knowledge of his knowledge. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Yeah, again, feel free to reach out to me if y'all need anything, or if y'all end up down in LA or if we end up in Northern California for some crazy reason. But okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Bye, guys. Good
Bye.
luck with everything.
Yeah. Good luck. Bye.
Hey, Richard, are you done too? Can I end the
Yes.
meeting?
Yes.
All right. Best of luck with everything.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.